Week 5 of the NFL has just wrapped up, and so now I present to you my Week 6 NFL Power Rankings. Let's jump right in. In the last spot, we have the New York Jets. They are not good at football, and I mean, it proved it once again today. Sunday. They lost 37 to 22 to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are no good, so obviously, Jets are in last, especially with other bad teams winning. Raiders lost 40 to 6 to the Colts. That's a more respectable loss, but it's not close, if that makes sense. Like the the Colts are really good, but the Raiders losing 40 to 6 is just unbelievable. And in the 30th spot, we have the Titans. The only reason they're not in last is because the Jets and the Raiders got blown out, and the Titans somehow did win. They shouldn't have won at all, but they did win, so you kind of have to give it to them a little bit. So they're in 30. Number 29 now have the New York Giants. Uh, I can't remember who they played, but no, it was the Saints. They lost to the Saints. Saints are really garbage, so even with their win over the Chargers, which now is not looking that impressive with Joe Alt out, um, they're just bad. So 29, 28, wrong button. Ah, oh my goodness, 28. Man, I just showed you all of the slides. All right, well, anyways, Dolphins in 28, they lost again, this time to the Panthers. So that's not a good loss. And since they beat the Jets, that has to count for something. And so they're in 28. 27 is the Saints. The Saints beat the Giants, la-di-da. So I guess they move up because the Giants are still, oh, they're bad. So they stay bad. Panthers also beat a horrible team, so they stay horrible. And then the best of the garbage teams would be the Cardinals. They were not good, and they lost to the Titans. They choked that game horrendously, so they get to be in 25th. 24, we have the Browns. The Browns also not that great. They had to start Dylan Gabriel. Kept it close to the Vikings, but still not that good of a team. Number 23. Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think that they're good anymore. With Lamar Jackson, I guess he was completely carrying them, and he was carrying them to a 1-3 record. I think I had them in the top 10 or almost in the top 10 last week. That was a mistake. I made multiple mistakes last week with my power rankings. So the Ravens now in 23rd. 22nd is the Bengals. They got shellacked by the Lions, but they're still better than the Ravens. Number 21, we have the Falcons. Falcons had a bye week, so they just kind of float to whatever spot they managed to get, and they managed to get 21. 20, you get the Dallas Cowboys. Destroyed the Jets. Nah, destroyed isn't the best word because they only beat them by like 15, but still beat the Jets by a decent amount. The Jets are horrible. In fact, they are the worst, so I'm going to put the Cowboys in 20. 19, we have the Bears. Bye week, but I still think they're better than the Cowboys. 18, the Texans destroyed the Ravens. Texans went from a bottom 5 team to now they're 18. Uh, what a performance. I mean, come on. Finally, they show some life and get their second dub. Vikings now in 17th. Um, they barely beat the Browns. Congratulations. So they just kind of stay where they were. 16, you have the Steelers, bye week. Once again, they just kind of float into position, but average team, I could see the Steelers being an average team. 15, Chargers could fall further next week. I don't know who they're playing next week, but it's if they lose again, that's a problem. And so then we might need to drop them even further. But for right now, 15 is enough punishment. I think 14, another team that needs to punish the Packers. Uh, I had them in the top 10, maybe even the top 5 last week. That was a mistake, and I do apologize for it. Holy cow. They're not that good. It was a bye week. They didn't even play this week, but they're just, I mean, just thinking about it. They tied with the Cowboys, and they lost to the Browns. you gotta drop. 13, Commanders. They beat the Chargers, so you move up a little bit. In 12th, the Chiefs lost to the Jaguars, so they lose their top 10 spot, I believe. And it's just the way it goes. Number 11 is the Jaguars. The Jaguars have looked pretty decent uh, so far. They've looked. We'll just keep it at decent. I mean, they beat the Chiefs. That was clutch. But they still miss out on the top 10 because number 10, the Patriots. Oh my goodness. They beat the Bills. Holy cow. How about that? I mean, go on. They get the dub. You love to see it. And they finally get a top 10 spot once again. Number 9, the Broncos. They beat my beloved Eagles. Finally, when the Eagles were trying to actively lose a game, they did in fact lose. Uh, Broncos had a good win. The Eagles did not play well, and they kept it close. So that's why the Eagles have not already been said. Number 8, the Seahawks. The close loss against the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers are a great team. So they kept it really close. So they improve upon last week's ranking. Number 7, the Rams. They barely lost to the 49ers, and it was in overtime. Kind of, you have to drop them a little bit for that, but they're still a good team. I still think they're a top 10 team, and they'll probably go out and win this week. Number 6, we have the 49ers. Beat the Rams, so they kind of just had to move up past the Rams. Number 5, I have the Colts. No one would have expected the Colts to be a top 10, let alone top 15, let alone top 20 in the league. And here they are at 5 after hammering the Raiders. Utter shock. Danny Dimes is the answer. Number 4, we have the Buccaneers. They beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks are a really good team, so the Buccaneers really just kind of have to move forward. But they couldn't move into third because in third is the team that they lost to, the Philadelphia Eagles. They were actively trying to lose again, and they were playing horribly. And as me as an Eagles fan saying they were playing horribly, they still almost beat a good Broncos team. I mean, no matter how bad the Eagles are playing, they're still just really, really good, if that makes sense. They're just too good to fall, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not even trying to be biased. They're trying to lose. They're not playing well, but they can't really lose. They lost by like 4 points in a game where they played horribly, namely the defense at the end and the offense at the start. Oh man. Number 2, or actually at the end, the Eagles were bad, just altogether. Number 2, we have the Lions. Uh, they played well. They beat the Bengals. Congratulations. Average, normal win for the Lions. And the Bills still top number 1. I have the Patriots in the top 10 now, and the Bills I think are still just more impressive than the Lions. I'd say if the Lions get a good win here next week, they're gonna like it's against the Chiefs, so if the Lions win, I mean that's just a really good win. And if the Bills don't like lock in and win next week really good or by a lot, I think the Lions take the 1 spot. But those are my rankings. Let me know if you think some were too high, too low. But thank you for watching.